Welcome all. In this video we are going to create a project and we are going to upload it in Git and GitHub. Okay, so the project will be created with the Virtual Studio Code editor. So in order to start that, we need to make the arrangements. That is, we need to sign into your GitHub account, that is the online GitHub repository. Then you need to open your Visual Studio Code editor. So since we are going to create the code in that particular Visual Studio editor. Okay, so and finally you need to open your GitHub desktop. Okay, so in order to create a desktop and publish that desktop to the online repository. So before starting or before going into the concept, we need to see some basic Git commands which we will be using in this particular project or in this particular session. So in order to check the version of the Git which is been installed in your machine, you need to use the command set to be git, give a space, then put two hyphens and then mention the time set to be version or the command set to be version, right? So here in the Git, whatever commands you are going to use, before that you have to use the suffix set to be Git. Okay, Git followed by the command, then only that particular Git commands will be executed. Okay, so in order to find out the version of the Git or in order to check whether the Git is installed in your local computer or in your machine, you can use this command set to be Git version. The next command is add, Git add, that is the place from where you are doing some activities or the folder where you are doing the activities. There you will be creating some files, right? So from that place to a stacking area, we need to move the file. Okay, so after that only we will be able to send it to the repository, right? So in order to change the file from the working directory to the stacking area, we will be using this command set to be add. The syntax will be like this: git space add space the name of the file. So here I have given the name of the file as demo.html. The next command is commit. Here what will be happening is we will be making the file to be sent to the repository. Okay, so before send to the repository, we need to pass a message, right? So we need to pass a message or we need to preserve that particular file, right? So for that we will be using this commit message, right? So here we will be providing a message for that particular commit command, right? So this particular file command or the message will be preserved for that particular version of file. Okay, so the second time if you are going to commit another file, you will be providing another message, right? By identifying these particular messages, you will be able to find out the version of files which you have uploaded in the online repository. Then config. Okay, so in order to set a configuration value to the local repository as well as to the global repository, we need to use this config command, right? So the syntax is config -- global user.name followed by the username which you have created for your GitHub and the email ID which you have registered for the GitHub, right? So that has to be used here. And then finally you will be having a remote add origin. Okay, so right, so from the local repository to the remote repository, right? So remote Git repository. So you will need to push the files, right? So for that we need to add the origin commands, right? So to add the remote repository to your local Git repository. Okay, so you need to link the remote repository to your local repository. For that you will be adding this using this remote add origin command. Then push, right? So this push command is used to push your files from the local repository to the remote repository, that is from the Git to the GitHub. And pull, so this pull command is used to fetch or download the contents which is present in the remote repository, that is from your GitHub to the Git. Okay, so from the GitHub to the Git, if you need to download or if you need to fetch the file, you can use the command set to be pull. So these are some of the basic commands which we will be using in our this particular session for creating the first project. Now over to the project creation. So in order to create a project, first what should we do is we need to create a repository in our local file, that is in our local machine or in our desktop or in your laptop. We need to create a new repository, right? So for that you have to log into your GitHub desktop application, right? And then click create new repository on your local file. So this particular window will be displayed. So here what we need to do is we need to provide the name for the repository, right? So here I am going to give the name as SD, and here I am going to give a description of this particular repository, right? Programs of SDP, yes, clear. And then here what we need to do is we have to click this create repository button, so that a folder will be getting created in the GitHub folder. Okay, so here in the D drive I have created a GitHub folder, and within that I am creating an SDP file. Okay, so here next what we need to do is we need to publish this repository, right? So now this SDP folder is available only in the local machine. In order to publish to the GitHub, you have to use this particular button, right? So you can click this particular button so that it will be published, right? So before publishing it, we need to sign in to our GitHub account. So you can sign in to the GitHub account, click this sign in, and here it will be asking us to move to the browser, right? So click the continue. So here already what happened is I have opened the GitHub dashboard, and here we need to, the GitHub desktop will be verifying whether we are the right person or not. Okay, so here authorization has to be done, right? So since I have logged in or signed in by using my username and operations, so I will be clicking this button to continue. Then what has to be done is click this button, open GitHub desktop. Okay, right? So here the login has been made for our GitHub, and now what we can do, we can publish this, right? So click this, right? So keep this code private means this codes will be kept private, right? So since we are doing only for the course, we can keep this as private. And then click publish repository. So here the repository will be getting published to the GitHub account or in the online repository of the GitHub. Okay, so now we shall see that the file has been uploaded. Okay, so file has been uploaded, or the repository got the SDP repository opened in the GitHub. Right. So we shall see it here. The GitHub dashboard, I am refreshing it. So here you can see the username followed by the SDP, right? So you can press it. So it will be moving into the area or the folder repository of that particular SDP, right? So here you can see it is set as private. Okay. So whatever actions we will be doing in the Git, what we can do, we can push those files into this particular area, right? So now we shall go to the coding section, right? So now we shall come to the GitHub, and here what we can do is we can open our repository in the Visual Studio, right? So either you can go to the Visual Studio and you can open the repository, or else you can move to the GitHub desktop application, and via GitHub desktop application you can open the Visual Studio, right? So here I am going to open the Visual Studio through the GitHub desktop application, right? So I'm clicking this button, open in Visual Studio Code. So here you can see the GitHub folder has been opened here. Okay. So you can maximize it. And this is your repository, right? SPP, that is your repository, and it has been linked with your GitHub account, right? And what we can do is we can create a file. Okay, so I am going to create a HTML file. So for creating a file, I have to click this new file icon, and I need to give the name. So I am giving the name as promo.html. So that HTML file got opened here. So here I am going to create a HTML file, right? So here I am going to use the commands to be HTML:5. So that what will be happening is a HTML5 file will be created. So here I am going to give the command hello world. Okay, so after typing this, I am saving this particular file set to be demo.html, right? So here you can see a symbol set to be U. Okay, so it is mentioning that this particular file is an untracked file. Okay, and here in order to add these files and in order to publish this file, what we need to do is we need to use the Git commands. Okay, so now coming to the GitHub desktop. So here you can see there we have created a file demo.html, right? So we have created a file set to be demo.html. We have not made any changes, right? So here you can see one changed file, that is within the STP folder a new file set to be demo.html has been created, right? So that is been shown here, right? But it is not been uploaded to your GitHub account. Okay, so now we shall see the online repository. So here you can see nothing is been uploaded here. Okay, so nothing is been uploaded here, and here you can see the command set to be initial commit. Okay, so on creating this particular repository, this initial commit will be made. Okay, now we shall go to the VS Code, and here you can open the terminal. Okay, so here what we shall do is we shall check whether the Git is been installed in this particular machine. For that we shall use the command set to be git version. So here you can see the version of Git which is been installed in this machine is been displayed here. Next command what we need to do is we need to add this demo.html file to the Git. So git add followed by the name of this particular file which you have created. So now it has been added. Next we need to do the commit operation. Commit -m. So we need to provide a message. Commit the HTML file, and so here what happened is the file got committed, right? And then we need to configure, right? Git config local, and we need to set the user. Okay, so from which user the files will be getting committed or added, that we need to configure, right? So we need to make a link between our local Git and to the global Git repository, right? So if needed you can provide the email also, right? So here I am not going to provide the email, right? And then you need to provide the link the online repository with the local repository. For that we need to use git remote add origin, right? And then provide the link. So link is nothing but github.com/name of the account followed by the repository. Okay. So here it shows that it is been already there, right? So we go in the desktop So what we have done is we have published it, right? So during that time, what happened? This particular link was being made between the local Git and the global Git, right? Online Git. So next, what we shall do is we shall push the. So we are pushing the file to the online repository, right? So here what happened is everything is up to date. That is, all the file got updated, right? So here in the Git we shall see. So in the online page we shall see. Just reload this. So here you can see the file, right? So in the demo.html file. So this got updated here, right? So the message what we have given, committing a HTML file, right? So in the VS Code you can see we have given the messages committing a HTML file that is got displayed here. Okay, right. So now what we shall do is again in the VS Code we can make changes to this particular file and we can make this particular file to be uploaded, right? So I am going to change this particular sentence. Okay, so hello welcome age, and then I need to save this, right? So save this, right? On saving you can see here a symbol set to be m got displayed, right? So because now we have modified this particular file, right? So m denotes the modification, right? So next what we have to do, again we need to add the file, then we need to commit the file, and then we need to push the file, right? So again, so we are going to use the same add command, then we are going to use the commit command. So here I am going to give a new message, committing a file. So this is my new message, right? And then I am going to push this file. Okay, push, right? So now what happened? The files got updated there, right? So now what we shall do? We shall go to the online repository and check. Okay, so here refresh this. You can see the message committing a new file. Previously it was committing. Previously it was committing a HTML file, right? So now it got changed to committing a new file. Okay. So now what we shall do is we shall do the change in this particular HTML file, right? In the online repository, right? So I am going to click here. So this particular file will be getting opened. Then here you have the edit option. Click that edit, and then you can change here, right? So I am going to change here. Okay. So I made a change here, right? And here we need to do the commit. Okay, so commit changes. So here we need to give a message, right? Update and to the demo.html demo file. Okay, so this is the message sent to me, and then click commit changes. So this got updated. Okay, so now we shall go to the code, and here you can see the message update done to the demo file. Okay, but here in the VS Code we have the same file there, right? So with the message hello world from age, right? So we need to pull that file, right? So from the online repository we need to import that file to our local repository or in our local machine, right? So for that we need to use the command set to be git pull. Okay, and click enter. So here you can see, right? So automatically the TAM got changed from AG to Anto Operations, right? And here you can see some updations happened. What are the operations happened? Everything is being shown here. Okay, so everything is being shown here, right? So this is the process which will be done when doing a or when commit if you want to perform a project, or if you want to do a project and if you need to upload it to your the online repository, right? So a copy can be kept in your machine as well as it can be uploaded to the online repository, right? So next come to the online repository. So here you can see how many commits have been done, right? So 4 times the commit have been done, right? So just click there. So here you can see, right? So first the initial commit, that is on creating the repository is to be STP from this desktop GitHub desktop application we have published, right? So we have pushed that to the online repository, right? So that was the initial commit. Okay, and next first time we have created a HTML file. There we have given the command as, so here you can click here. You can see the first file which we have given. We have given only the sentence of the command set to be hello world, right? So this was the first change we have made in that demo.html file. Next, coming to the second change, the committing a new file was the second commit message which we have given. We just click this. Here we can see the second change what we have made, right? So the red color marks the previous message, and the green color gives you the new message which we have done, or the new change which we have done, right? So initially it was hello world and 2 exclamatory symbol, and the next part we got done is hello world followed by from AG 3 dots. Okay, that was the change which we have made. And finally we have done this particular final change in the online repository, right? Hello world from AG 3 dots were there, we have changed it to hello world from Anto. That was the final change we have made, right? Okay, and here for each commit we can identify the files. Okay, we can identify the files by using the commit messages which we have given, right? Okay, for example, take I have made a change update done to the demo file, right? But for my use I don't want that particular file. Means what I can give, I can go for the previous version and I can use that particular files for my use. Okay, right? So this is what the application of this particular Git and GitHub, right? So here it will be preserving the versions. Okay, so since it is a version control system, right? So this is an explanation, or this is a demo about the creating the first project and uploading it in the GitHub repository. So hope you have understood, and if you have any queries you can type in the comment box. Thank you.